i-welcome po natin Dr. Kashana M. Vera Cruz. Please give her a round of applause.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat at salamat po Miss Lisa for that introduction. Unang-una po, nagpapasalamat po kami, ang mga kasama ko galing IRI at ang aking mga partners po sa pag-iimbita po sa amin today to share our project's progress and ongoing work dahil po sa imbitasyon ng Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agricultural Research. So ngayon po, sisimulan ko yung aming topic on a project that is supported by DA-BAR on raising productivity and enriching the legacy of heirloom, or in other words, we call them also traditional rice varieties through empowering communities in unfavorable rice-based ecosystems. So makikita po ninyo na we are actually looking at our genetic resources. Yun pong ating mga varieties dito sa Pilipinas. Ini-empower din natin yung communities na nandoon at nagtatrabaho tayo sa mga unfavorable environment. Ang isa po dito ay yung upland kung nasaan at irrigated highland kung nasaan po itong ating mga tinatawag nating heirloom rice or traditional varieties. Okay, kami po ay may tagline dito sa project na ito and we used to call it increasing the value and also preserving heritage because we wanted to increase the value of our traditional or improved varieties, okay? And also i-preserve natin yung heritage where these varieties are grown and also look also into the farmers who are growing this kind of varieties. Okay po. Ito po yung outline ng presentation ko just to be para alam po ninyo how we would move. Sandali lang po just to introduce how the project started. And then yun pong conceptual framework ng ating project. Yung vision at yung objectives po na gusto nating mapunuan dito sa ating project. And after that, iisa-isahin ko po yung mga components ng project, ano yung mga activities at ano yung mga naging resulta nito. Yung recommendation tungkol dun sa outputs ng project at yun pong ongoing heirloom rice project na ang tawag natin ngayon ay phase 2 po. Okay? Okay, so dito po nag-start lahat ito dahil tayo po ay may consortium sa institute. Yung consortium po na ito is not only for the Philippines but also for other countries in the region, in Asia. At dito po sa Pilipinas, nakipag-consult po kami before we started this project. At sa PhilRice, si Dr. Leo Sebastian at that time, started with recommending to us na if you want to work in the uplands, dahil upland po ang ating target environment kung saan naandoon yung ating mga resource poor and marginalized farmers and even yung ating mga indigenous members of the community ay nandoon. So sila po yung nag-recommend that you have to work in Cotabato where we have the largest upland rice areas and also the communities living there. So ito po, nagtrabaho tayo dito sa Arakan Valley Complex. And then doon po nagtatanim na, nakita natin, nagtatanim na sila ng mga, or nagtatanim pa sila hanggang ngayon, ng mga traditional varieties. Okay? But other than that, dahil gusto natin na ma-increase din yung kanilang yield sa rice farming, nag-introduce po tayo ng mga varieties na tinatanim sa upland, mga bagong varieties po ito, dahil mas mataas yung yield nila, at yung pong tinatanim din sa lowland irrigated varieties, just to compare. So, dito po, nakita natin how our farmers are actually valuing the traditional varieties na itinatanim na nila. Dahil nakita po natin na kahit yung mga varieties na itinatanim nila, nakita na po natin noon na may value sila dahil yung iba dito ay may resistance sa disease. Matatag sila sa sakit. So, talaga pong itong ating mga varieties, talagang meron pong itinatagong katangian. Okay? So, we proceeded with our work. Ito po yung mga nagtatanim na farmers doon. karamihan din po sa kanila ay women. Okay? At yan po yung mga klase ng varieties na itinatanim nila. Kita po ninyo, mga dinurado, noon pa yung mga asusena na mababango, magaganda ang quality. At pati po yung variety na ang tawag natin, pilitapol. Ito po yung mga varieties na pigmented, dark-colored, purple. Okay, so itinatanim po nila yun doon. And then, natuto silang mag-produce ng good quality seeds. Kaya after harvest, idinademonstrate nila the value of getting good yield and also good quality seeds. So, dinademo po nila yan. But then, later on, okay, nakita po na there are, opportunities for these varieties to go into market. So, noon po, yung Region 12, may isang NGO group na very actively also promoting traditional varieties na nag-start mag-market at na po sila. They were supported by Region 12, Department of Agriculture, and they started marketing black rice. Na ang tawag po dyan ay mga traditional varieties na nag-start sila mag-export sa Europe. Okay? Now, noon po, marami na rin dinidevelop noon ng yung mga varieties na for the market. Katulad po ng nakikita ninyo dito, ito pong dinurado. Okay? However, in other parts of the country, meron na rin po tayong mga varieties na katulad nito, hindi nga lang po sila nakatanim sa upland. Sila po ay nakatanim sa irrigated highland na noon pa palang mid-2000, ine-export na sila. Okay? Saan sila ine-export? Sa US. Now, dahil those varieties, ito po yung mga varieties noon na nasa Cordillera, have been exported in the US. Ito po yung mga varieties noon na in-export na and are having their unique traits and characteristics. Meron pong white, meron din pong purple or black, merong brownish, merong red. Okay? And sila po yung group of women, again, Mary and Vicky, who were involved in this activities. And so, ito po yung mga varieties na itinatanim nila noon at they are packaging it in such a way that they are marketable when they reach the market in the US. Okay? So, that went through for a few years. And the government later on, so now in early 2013, they started to think about expanding the market of this group of varieties. Okay? So, ang tinatarget po nilang mga markets noon were US, of course, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, particularly for the red premium or heirloom rice. Pati po Middle East and India, especially for long grain and aromatic rice varieties. And in Europe, katulad po sa Belgium, sa Netherlands, Germany rin po. And so in 2013, DA in coordination also with private sector has also started shipping black rice or purple rice na nakatanim sa Quezon Province and were already exported to Hong Kong and Dubai. So in those period as well, the Filipinos were urged to increase heirloom rice consumption, probably because of the value that are now being generated in terms of this knowledge on traditional varieties. So, pinakita ko lang po itong mga standards kasi ito po yung standard na if we want to expand our market in Europe, ito po yung mga standards na sinusunod nila. So, we need to conform to these standards, okay? And also classify them because they want to be classified based on their subgroups of rice because there are many of these po. Especially because we understand that at the gene bank, both at IRE and Phil Rice, marami na rin po tayong klase ng varieties na belonging to this classification. So, we wanted to do exactly the same thing because already, as we know, kahit dito sa atin, we are actually already importing varieties from Thailand. And that's what they call their jasmine or fragrant rice. Pero ito po ay puti, okay? And also being exported in many parts of the world, okay? So, which also becomes one of the greatest income producers of the country and also helping the farmers as well. Now, during the time also, meron na pong bagong idea also arising from, in the market environment, arising from the use of healthy food. Promoting a lot of this healthy food, not the synthetic ones, so that they are the ones that will make us, of course, consumers, tayo naman po, consumers, even more healthy, okay? Despite the presence of many different types of food in the market, okay? So, yan po yung status noon. So, now these are already ongoing activities, and between the Institute and also some of our donor agencies, we wanted to also partner with our country offices, which are already working in the highlands. And that's the reason why we partner with them, because we are actually having the same objective here. What are those? Increasing the income of the rural poor through a sustainable agricultural development and also for food security. So, having this in mind, we look at the gaps. So, because during that time we were already working with our farmers in these irrigated highland areas, and the gaps that they identified at the time is that they have gaps in terms of the agricultural products or the crops or the varieties that they produce, especially the premium traditional rice for grains and seeds, okay? Because that time they were already mentioning that they are having poor quality seeds, okay? And the genetic purity of those varieties are unknown, so sometimes they can have mixtures in their, what they market and in their produce. There is no proper labeling and packaging in their products. They have unknown nutritional value, okay? And there is unrecognized community ownership of these varieties, okay? Kung alam po ninyo how we value this kind of varieties in the environment, in this kind of environment. And there's also a need for product promotion. Now, other gaps are for enterprise building, especially doon po sa ating target farmers na ang tawag natin ay mga self-help groups, okay? So, ano yung characteristics noon po? Meron silang limited production lang. So, low ang yield ng mga varieties na ito, at nakita po ninyo, hindi halos tumataas sa 2 tons per hectare or a little bit 2 tons per hectare if improved, okay? They need to enhance the knowledge of the market, okay? Kasi kulang po sila sa ganyang kaalaman, especially outside of their village, the municipality, and they wanted to tap markets for premium traditional varieties, okay? They also need to enhance the entrepreneurial skills of this group of farmers. And then, during the time, using poor quality seeds, they have limited access to technologies on crop and seed production. So, ito po yung gusto nating i-fill in the gaps. So, ang question natin, kung gagamit po ba tayo ng mga technology, innovation, and also analyze the value chain, yung pong nai-involve sa different steps of production and marketing, can we further enhance the heirloom rice market na gusto ng ating government to help the marginalized farmers? Yun po din yung ating target, yung ating marginalized farmers or resource-poor farmers to earn more income and consumers also to be more healthy. So yan po yung una nating mga tanong noon. So because of that, we initiated this kind of project, okay, which was a collaboration between the Department of Agriculture and our institute, and those were 7 projects. So that's how our project was born at the time. So our vision for this project is to enhance the productivity and also livelihoods of our upland farming communities or highland, irrigated highland farming communities, and then as well conserve their on-farm heirloom climate-resilient rice varieties. And because we also work a little bit in Region 12, so we also look at other crops. So the main outputs of this project are we would like to have the preferred heirloom rice varieties characterized, okay, for also food security, increased yield, and also increased market demand. And then link our smallholder farmers to value chain, and especially the enterprise that they are going to, they were having at that time. And of course, because we also care about the environment, especially the areas where these are grown, because these are very fragile environments. Kasi ito po yung mga mountainous areas, hindi katulad po ng ating mga irrigated na flat, and dapat pong environmentally they should be conserved. But not only the area, but also the crops that are grown in those areas. So we wanted to conserve the biodiversity of these rice varieties and preserve the cultural heritage in the terraces, because this environment is also very unique and precious to our country as well. Because as you know, isa po ito sa 8th wonder of the world and is protected by the United Nations as one of the heritage in the world. Okay? So, ito po yung ating conceptual framework. Medyo, makikita nyo po, medyo marami kaming ini-involve dito na activities and different aspects of the project. So, from understanding the varieties, kaya po kailangan natin, i-characterize natin yung mga varieties by different approaches, because using these approaches, we'll be able to understand better the varieties that are grown in those areas, and to protect them as well, we linked with other partners to be able to have this kind of community ownership and have them validate their needs with them, and then help them build up their capacity and provide that needed interventions to have good highland rice variety production. Okay, and then the other one is, once this area has been fulfilled, we hope that we link the farmers to value chain. Yan po yung, dyan tayong mga activities natin to link them to the market. Para yung pong characterize na ng varieties at natutunan nilang mga technologies, pagsamahin nila at ilink nila yung product nila, okay, with good quality and sustainable production to the market. Para po maka-continue not only increasing the productivity, but also increasing the income of our farmers, and also make it sustainable. And across, because we are supported by our government, by the ABAR, we wanted to capture also the knowledge gained from the project and also apply that in similar communities in other areas or regions of the country or other countries. Because the project is actually reaching different activities and different expertise. Erie and Phil Rice, ito po sa ating mga major partners, and our region in the Cordillera and also in Region 12, we actually partnered with other members of the project. Now, particularly the ATI, the universities, also the provincial local government units. We also partnered with municipal local government units as well, and also the barangay local government units, and also some NGOs already marketing the product, and also our self-help groups, which are actually represented by our Rice Terraces Farmers Cooperative in the region where we are doing the project. And later on, some other private partners like chefs, restaurateurs were interested in the product. And they were also part of those who joined us in this project. Okay, so eto po yun. Ano po ba yung ating tinatawag na heirloom rice variety? So makita po ninyo kung gaano yung kaibahan niya. Kita po ninyo, malalaki yung grains niya, at yung pong characteristic na mahahaba yung on, ngayon lang po ulit natin nakikita ito. At hanggang ngayon ay tinatangkilik pa ng ating mga farmers doon sa ating mga highland areas or upland areas. So, dinefine po natin ang heirloom rice based on when they are passed down from one generation to another. And this is actually proven by the fact that centuries ago, rice cultivation has already started in the Cordilleras, and particularly for our brothers in those areas like uplands, already growing traditional varieties that they inherited from their ancestors. So they are also grown in small areas, unlike the improved varieties that are grown widely in rice-growing areas in the country. And these are normally in demand both locally and internationally due to their cooking quality. So we know that they have different cooking quality, flavor, aroma, texture, even color, as you would see. And also, more importantly, is the nutritional value of these different varieties, okay? And we also found out from the studies that we did that they indeed are also resilient or resistant to some other biotic or other stresses that are met by varieties that are grown in these environments. Okay, so ito po is just to summarize, ito po yung ating mga activities, ito po yung mga varieties na gino-grow nung ating farmers in the irrigated highlands, at ito po yung mga farmers natin na nagtatanim ng varieties na to. Okay, so ito po yung first activities natin dun sa ating component 1 na tinatawag. Before that, we also had our pre-project launch because we gathered a group of stakeholders to be able to identify ano po ba itong mga varieties na to na ating study dito sa ating environment. So they identified that we should focus on these irrigated highlands in the Cordilleras, and these provinces are Kalinga, Mountain Province, and also Ifugao and Benguet. Okay, and what you notice here is that they are all over 600 meters above sea level, okay? Reaching sometimes 1,400 meters above sea level. So, ibang-iba po yung environment kung saan sila itinatanim, okay? Dahil po doon sa meeting na yon ng ating mga stakeholders, nag-identify sila ng mga varieties na classified into 3 groups, and they are pretty well selected, okay? Because the farmers and those who are already involved in the market have already some idea of these varieties. So they were categorized based on varieties with market potential, and varieties that they want to save in their field. So those are varieties that are near extinction. So we identified all of this, about 41 varieties in all from 4 provinces and 17 barangays, okay? And these are where they are grown. So ito po yung kauna-unahang ginawa naming sampling noong 2014, at kita po ninyo kung saan sila, ipapakita ko po ulit yung 2 areas, but everybody in the partnership, in the project, are helping one another to do this kind of collection, okay? So whatever farmers are growing, yun po yung kinukolect namin. And not only more than one farmer, many farmers growing the same varieties are also identified and collected. So ito po yung katulad sa Mountain Province. Yan po yung tinatawag nila sa Mountain Province na heart of Mountain Province. Okay? This area, okay, in Barlig, in Kadaklan cluster, and those are the varieties that were identified and collected, okay? So, tingnan nyo po, talagang iba din yung mga varieties na nakatanim. Dito naman sa Ifugao, yung kilalang-kilala natin na where we have the rice terraces, okay? And these are the ones that were collected in those areas. And because we are also including at that time varieties that are grown in Region 12, we also collected some of these varieties, about 45 of them, that were actually grown in the 2 provinces, Alamada and Banisilan, which are the greatest or widest upland area in North Cotabato, okay? So, when we were looking at those varieties, nakita natin among those lists, that many of them, okay, some of them are stored in the gene bank. Okay, so preserved na po sila. However, more than 50% of those varieties that were listed or identified by our stakeholders are actually not maintained. So talaga pong there's a risk na pwede silang mawala kung hindi natin sila ipipreserve ng maayos sa mga gene banks na existing in the country and also at Erie, meaning at Philrise and also at Erie. Okay? So we have all this in our mind when we were conducting the project. So nung pong magdala sila ng sample, kinarakterize yun sa Erie, yung mga panicle na yon, isa-isa. Okay? And out of 41 varieties, okay, naka-identify po tayo ng mga 74. Okay? Variants ang tawag natin. Magkakamag-anak sila pero may pagkakaiba. So, same variety, nagkameron ng variant. So, makita po natin dito kung gaano sila ka-diverse, kung gaano sila magkakaiba. Okay? Even if they are called the same variety. So, ito po yung example, okay, nung mga varieties. For example, one of those planted in Ifugao, in Hingyon, in Hunduan, that were identified to have so many variants, pero tinatawag lang na isang variety, minaangan. Okay? So, nung i-grow po siya dito sa institute, sa Erie, nakita po natin na kahit sila ay same name, iba-iba talaga sila. So they are so diverse and we want to preserve this kind of diversity. But at the same time, we want to study, talaga ba magkakaiba sila o pare-pareho lang sila? Okay? So, yan po yung mga, dahil kailangan i-preserve din po natin yung diversity na yan. Dahil yan po ay may mga traits na pwede pong mag-protect sa mga varieties at kailangan natin na talagang diverse sila na itinatanim, okay? Kasi po, kita po naman natin yung mga improved varieties natin, in some cases, when they are grown over wide area with one variety, pag nagkameron po ng sakit, ano sila, affected lahat. So, we want as diverse as possible para po ma-retain din itong ating mga varieties na to, which are very unique later on, as we found out. So, meron po namang mga varieties na nakita natin na uniform ang kanilang agromorphological characteristics, kahit iba-ibang farmers ang nagtatanim nito. Okay? So, meron po tayong mga ganyang varieties. Okay? So, inanalyze po natin yan, okay, at the genome level. Ito po, nag-analyze tayo ng mga DNA, parang katulad po ng ginagawa sa forensics. Okay? Para malaman natin kung magkakamag-anak sila. Okay? Oh, sorry po. So, nakita natin, yung isa pong branch niyan, ibig sabihin, magkakaiba silang grupo. Okay? So, nakikita po ninyo, yung mga grupong yan, meron po tayong na-identify na first major 6 clusters. Ibig sabihin, magkakaiba po sila. At yung iba po ay galing pa sa ibang provinces. Okay? Yung iba naman ay grown in different provinces pero magkakasama din sila. Ibig sabihin, there might come a time that there has been some exchange and so even if they are named differently, they are the same variety. Pero yung iba po ay talagang ibang-iba. So we see the uniqueness of some of these varieties in the Cordilleras, okay? Now, what we did after collecting everything, we compared them again, okay? So, yung po mga varieties na galing Cordillera and galing sa North Cotabato, so na-retain po yung identity. Ito po yung galing sa Cordillera na ang tawag natin ay Tropical Japonicas. Iisa po silang group, okay? Meron din po tayong mga Tropical Japonica din, pero nag-group together kasi meron silang ibang unique characteristics, like for example, pigmentation. Okay, and that's what's unique with this variety. Okay, there's another group. Ito po yung nasa Mindanao. Talagang nag-cluster siya. Okay, meron po kayo nakitang subcluster, pero nag-cluster siya differently, okay, from those in the Cordillera. So you can see, dahil po ito ay ina-associate natin, probably sa kanila hypothesis lang po ito, sa kanilang environments which are unique where they grow, kaya din po silang magkakaiba at magkakasama. Magkakaiba kung sila ay grown in different regions, but magkakasama kung grown within the same region. But there are also some differences as well. Ito po yung pinakaiba. Ang katulad po nito ay upland indica ang tawag natin, pero katulad yan ng ating mga modern varieties. Okay? Pero sila po pigmented din. So, tinatanong po natin, yung question natin, are they introduced recently? Okay, so those are the questions and hypotheses that we are posing. But what is clear is that these are all unique and they show their uniqueness. Inaral din po natin kung ano yung mga varieties na merong resistance sa sakit. Kasi pag gino-grow po ng mga farmers natin, alam natin, gusto natin ipaalam sa ating farmers na yung ibang varieties ninyo ay resistant sa sakit. So pwede po ninyong, hindi kayo matakot i-grow itong mga varieties na ito because they are resistant against the common major diseases. Inaral din po natin yan. At dito po makikita ninyo, magkakaiba talaga yung kanilang characteristics against same diseases or same disease of different strains. Okay, makita po ninyo that there are varieties that are resistant, but there are also varieties that are susceptible. And some varieties that are belonging to the same variety but were classified as different variants also show same level of resistance, which is good, meaning they are also showing some genetic relatedness doon po. Ito po naman ay another sakit. So ganun din po ang nakita nating phenomenon dito. May mga varieties, particularly ito po tingnan ninyo sa Ifugao. Maraming varieties doon na may resistance sa sakit na ang tinatawag na blast. Yan po ay common doon sa mga areas na yon, okay? Now, ito po yung ating, which is also a surprise to us. Magaling na lang po at wala tayong nakikitang sakit na ito, pero ito po yung iginrow natin sa area na merong virus infection, karamihan po ay susceptible sa virus. So hopefully, huwag po sana makarating doon yung nagdadala ng sakit na ito, okay? But hopefully, up until now, we haven't seen this kind of disease there. So, other than those characteristics, in-identify din po o inaral din natin yung kanilang grain quality. At dito po, nakita natin na yung kanilang chalkiness, for example, one of the qualities that they have are found to be different when they are grown in the highland at when they are grown in the lowland. So, kaya po talagang nakikita natin dito yung association ng mga varieties na ito pag sila ay tinanim where they are grown. Talaga pong mas maganda yung kanilang grain quality characteristics if they are grown in their own original site. Okay? And also because of the environment where they are exposed. Noong pong may isang okasyon na nagkameron po tayo ng tasting session at na-identify po nung mga about 100 people were did the sensory evaluation, and they found out that these first 5 varieties are described so differently, and they have very different characteristics, texture, aroma, flavor, because they also tasted it, and so we know how diverse and how valuable these varieties are if we compare them with varieties that we know already in the market, okay? So, we also analyze some of these grain quality characteristics, katulad po ng kanilang physical traits, kung paano sila niluluto, yung cooking traits nila. Nakita po natin na merong malalagkit dyan, merong mas matigas, merong madaling mabahaw, merong masarap kahit bahaw na siya. So, yun po yung pinag-aralan, and we were able to have a baseline information about these varieties. Ito po yung mga varieties na gino-grow sa different areas ng Cordillera, and they have different grain quality traits. Meron din po silang mga constituents, like for example, ito pong mga nutrients, micronutrients, yung hinahanap natin katulad po ng iron and zinc, okay? Meron pong mga varieties dito katulad po nitong mga varieties like uminyo, ingudpol, balatinaw at gilgilang na mataas ang kanilang zinc content. Actually, yan po ay micronutrient na importante to our nutrition or health, and also iron, okay? So, many of these varieties also have functional components. Ano po yung functional components? Ito po yung inaaral ngayon at may interest ang government natin na i-identify ano itong mga functional components of food, and they're including, one of them is rice. There are many of those. There are first 8 of those crops that are targeted by our government, and one of the 10, not included in the 8, is rice. Because as we know here, there are many of these, particularly those varieties with anthocyanin content, na mataas din ang kanilang mga other components, especially itong mga C3Gs. And in literatures, they have some properties like, for example, antibiotic, anti-cancer. Okay, so some of those properties. And there are those that belong to the black, red, dark purple rice. Okay? Now, ito po ay inanalyze ng partner natin to get an idea of the actual amount of this nutritional content of these varieties. Isa po dito yung total anthocyanin. Inanalyze po ito ng field rice. And true to their properties, okay, what came out here is that it ranged from, the anthocyanin content ranged from 4.31 to 1,323 milligrams per kilo. But now you see here that there are some varieties like, for example, uminyo, okay, both variants, and also Chaikot Yonga that have very high value. Some reaching 1,323 of that ang total anthocyanin, which contains all those functional food na sinabi natin earlier, okay? And some of them are actually these same varieties, uminyo and Chaikot Yonga. So you see the values that they have in comparison with other varieties na almost nil, almost wala po. Okay, our partners at Philips also identified the total phenolic content, okay, of polished. Polished pa po ito, hindi po ito yung unpolished. And dito po lumabas na yung mga varieties like, it's interesting, like uminyo, again, balatinaw, akangan, are those that are showing high total phenolic activity. Okay, so very important for our nutritional health. Okay? Oops. Okay, ito po yung also another property, yung kanyang antioxidant activity. And based on that result, it's also these varieties like akangan, uminyo, and also balatinaw that are topping the list of those varieties in terms of these properties, functional components of these improved varieties. Now, this is another analysis just to confirm from other technique to identify the antioxidant capacity of these varieties. And true enough, it's still the same varieties, balatinaw, uminyo, gilgilang, that are topping the list of these varieties in terms of their health value or nutritional content. Now, another interesting finding is that the C3G, which has some anti-cancer properties based on literature, but it has to be studied even deeply and further, are varieties like balatinaw as well and uminyo, okay? So, we also did additional information about the nutrition, okay, facts that are needed as labels in our heirloom rice when we start marketing them. So Phil Rice also did analysis of the nutrition facts, okay? So these are only examples of what we put in those nutrition facts. And these are added in the label because these are required as well for marketing. So examples that you see here are balatinaw polished and balatinaw unpolished, okay? Varieties. So again, I think these were the word clouds that were identified for this variety. So, in terms of grain quality and nutrition, what we can say is that these heirloom rice varieties or some of these additional varieties are healthy and nutritious. And then the heirloom rice varieties are diverse in terms of their quality attributes as well. And due to the quality differences, they may fit into different market niches, which is actually one of the goals of our government, is to find market niches for these varieties. Market niche because these different grain qualities may have fitting the different taste requirement of the different countries or our target markets, okay? So our next step that we want to do is also to match the heirloom rice varieties with potential markets based on consumer demand, okay? So we did put all these traits together and analyze them. So based on grain quality, also based on resistance to diseases, characteristics, what is the other one? Grain quality and also their nutritional content. And indeed, they are so unique by themselves. So what we found out here, magkakasama din yung mga purple varieties, okay? Magkakasama din sila, magkakagroup yung mga tropical japonicas, yung tropical japonicas na galing sa Cordillera at tropical japonicas na galing sa Mindanao, and those varieties sinabi natin kaninang upland indica. Okay? So na-prove na based on those many traits that we studied, talagang uniquely placed sila doon sa mga groupings na yun. So when we start marketing them or exporting them, we know how to describe them properly and appropriately when we target particularly international market. Okay, so now we know what they are, the characteristics and everything. Okay. Oops. Okay, so dahil gusto nating i-retain yung ownership ng mga farmers natin, okay, na nagtatanim nitong mga unique varieties na alam na natin how valuable they are because of their quality traits, we partnered with the Bureau of Plant Industry, and because they were the ones involved in cataloging all these varieties. And so, together with them, there is a Philippine traditional varieties, a catalog that was produced to have a listing of all the varieties that are grown in the areas, okay? So this will really prove market, not just market, but ownership of the community for all of these varieties, for all of these diverse varieties, both in the highland, irrigated highland, and also in the upland areas, okay? So now, let us go to the activity that enhances the local capacity of the farmers and also build their enterprising skills, okay? So these are the activities that were done there. All of the work that we do are participatory, meaning everyone is involved in these activities, okay? So that's the project outputs. But at the same time, these are the activities that we did to be able to identify the needs of the farmers growing in those communities based on the sites that have been selected. Because our goal here is to have a community visioning, okay? So they all will have, based on that participatory process of identifying their needs, the community will have their own visions, okay? And that's what we want to find out. Because we want to also train them based on all the technologies that are needed to increase their production in the area as well. Okay, so we want to achieve that vision, and that's the reason why there is always some kind of feedback, okay, in terms of the farmers that we are targeting, and also the activities that we are trying to do based on partnerships with the DARFO, PhilRice, our team, Agricultural Training Institute for the trainees, Department of Science and Technologies for some of the improvement in packaging that were being done, Department of Trade and Industry, we also partnered with them, and also other NGOs. Okay, so medyo hindi po namin ipapabasa yan dahil masyadong detailed na, but we did a participatory needs assessment dahil kailangan po natin yan in terms of capacitating our farmers. So we assessed the socioeconomic and biophysical characteristics of the project site to be able to determine the suitable package of management technologies for the target environment. Okay, that's in the project. So our strategy is to obtain baseline information of selected sites, do surveys, do participatory rural appraisal, consultation, dialogue, focus group discussions to be able to assess their needs, okay? So we did that for all the target provinces and for all our target self-help groups. So this were what you see here. I will not read them in detail, but there were also gaps that were identified by the heirloom rice farmers that they need to be fulfilled in order to increase their production, okay, but also to increase their income and lead to hopefully help their livelihood, okay? So these were the farmers, okay, that were identified that are producing heirloom rices in the 4 provinces in these different 7 municipalities. These are the self-help groups. There are many of them, and many of them were found out to be members of small associations, okay? So here are the farmers growing them. At least you have an idea of how they work in their own farm, because most of these farmers are actually owning their farms. So most of them, 70% of our target farmers are actually women working in the farm, okay? So you will see here that many of the farmers we are working with are women, okay? So they also identified, based on recent survey, that the rice areas in Cordillera, there is only very little, about only 16%, okay, of 63% are rice terraces, and they are the ones growing only these traditional varieties. So you see how small these areas are in the provinces, okay, in the entire province. And these are actually informations that were gathered from the local government units of the 5 provinces, and their estimated area of rice terraces, not too big, okay, total of only 14,000 hectares, and average yields of about 2.5 tons per hectare. So kita ninyo kung gaano kababa yon, but their value are different. They are valued differently. And the estimated number of farmers growing them is only about 39,000 farmers in the 5 provinces, okay? So they are the ones being targeted by our technologies that we want to build with them, including their capacity. They are actually, it's almost the same data, the estimated rice terraces, and also the yield, average yield of these different varieties, okay? So during that time, from mid-2000 until 2014, several tons of these varieties have already been exported. And we are currently taking more detailed information about their markets, okay? So you will see here that based on the survey that we did, okay, the interventions were also identified based on their needs. And based on that, these were the interventions identified for these different farmers, okay? So many of them actually from different areas identified that they need some of these machineries that they use in the market, but they also identified like sprayers, okay, so many, even sacks that are used in their harvest, okay? And these were provided to them. And also, the team, particularly our partners from Field Rice, documented some heirloom rice production practices so that even we improve or we introduce technologies, we wanted to make sure that their indigenous knowledge are preserved, because this is what also makes these heirloom rices unique, okay? Because of the stories behind these varieties and the indigenous rituals or practices that they use to grow heirloom rice. So this is based on varietal selection, and these are some of the suggested recommendations for their heirloom rice production, how they should prepare their land, okay, the land preparation, and also some of these recommendations to be able to have well-prepared areas, okay? So we were able to introduce some machines, small machineries, instead of the carabao. But what they wanted now are that smaller machines so that they can lift them from one terrace to another. So really, a lot more improvement are necessary, and that's what they informed us. So there are more improvements that need to be done with some of these machines. Also the thresher, and also those machines that are used in their land preparation. And we also try to build the capacity of those who are characterizing the different varieties. So these are done both in Cordillera and also in Region 12 to be able for them to characterize their own varieties so that they will be able, based on the characteristics that were identified at Erie and identified for those varieties, be able to produce, okay, when they want to increase their volume of production, produce good quality and good quality harvest, okay, without mixture, free from contaminants and other improved technologies that should go with producing good quality rice, okay? So these are some of the training conducted by our team from Field Rice, because this Farmer Field School is season long, okay? And so these are the highlights of Farmer Field School. Okay, they introduced the palay check to be able to be applied under irrigated environment and also upland. They also provided lectures on natural management of pests and also developing the palay check, which we already have a technical bulletin developed. Okay, I hope you will find it here. Okay, so this is very important. So what you saw earlier are the production side. Now this is the post-harvest side, after harvest, until storage. This is a very important component of increasing yield because we want to reduce the losses and also the infestations after harvest. So they were taught how to produce good quality rice for storage and how they store it, how they process it, even air dryers that are actually helping them to develop good quality grains, okay, after harvest. And even like what OTAP is doing here, introduce the solar bubble dryer. They find it big here, so it could be adjusted to a smaller size, but that's the one that provides even drying of their harvest. And also putting them at like 13% moisture so that when they store this before market, this produced before market, they will have even and good quality grains, okay? So they were all taught how to do that, okay? And also for the organizations and for the teams, they were also introduced how to have a good training on organizational development. Okay, so because we link them to the cooperative CDA, Cooperative Development Administration. Okay, so at the end of that whole long season, almost 238 farmers graduated with Farmer Field School, bring their own indigenous culture with producing rice by adding some new technologies that they learned out of this Farmer Field School, okay? So, right now that we have capacitated the farmers, our stakeholder farmers, we wanted to link them to market, okay? And how did we do this? Okay, linking farmers to value chain means extension service must tailor the type of support to offer to the smallholder farmers to realize their market aspirations, okay? And we will show that later. Investment of the government should not only focus on those better endowed farmers and more competitive farmers, but we should also listen to the plight of the poor farming communities in those areas. We also need to adequately assess farmers' conditions, including the market options and methods of optimizing their market performance that are manageable, particularly to the local partners and the beneficiaries. We also wanted them to understand the production to processing to marketing of heirloom rice varieties up to consumer preferences and product promotion, and to identify the constraints and opportunities faced by the heirloom rice farmers and be able to provide need-based interventions, okay? So, by doing that, okay, we the project aimed to have some value addition to what they do. So, these are the activities that we did, okay, enabling them to reach their aspirations. So, when we were looking at these farmers, we were able to identify their aspirations, okay? There are farmers that are already food secure, and so they are only farming these varieties for subsistence. But there are also groups that are already interested in selling these varieties in the local market. There are also groups that are already selling in domestic market, but there are also groups of farmers who want to sell their produce internationally or to export their produce. Okay, So, in order to add values to these different chains, okay, or the value chain, we actually have a value addition for these different steps in the value chain. Like for example, for product improvement, we try to improve the quality, the quantity of their produce, and also the seed health of these varieties. In production, in their production system, we try to also teach them how to do organic farming, and they are linked to OCCP, okay, in order to have a standard way of producing these traditional varieties. We also are hoping for them to have reached this status of having good agricultural practices, okay, and also this another one is the GI protection, okay. For product processing, some of them include this milling, okay, custom milling, customized milling for improving product standards, and also for identifying consumer preferences. So adding value into these different stages of the value chain. Okay, and by looking at those value addition, we were also able to identify the interventions, but because of that, because the constraints were identified already. So at the input stage, production, post-production and processing, and trading and distribution, each step of the value chain were studied and constraints were identified to be able to provide interventions for each of these steps, okay? Our goal is to form provincial cooperative for collective action, better market linkages, and enhance the local capacity and enterprise building of the target farmers we are working with, okay? So hopefully with this, in fact, the farmers were able to, okay, an analysis of the rapid value chain analysis to be able to look at their market following the players, the farmer, the cooperative, and the exporter. So these are some of the data here that the heirloom rice production by farmer actually accounts for 71% there, and 81% of the value added in the rice product for both export and local market, okay? The cooperative, okay, that's the farmer, the cooperative has about 17%, okay, and 19% value added in the chain for existing export and local market. And the value addition activities of the cooperative includes transportation of the product, improving the quality of the product, the quality control, and also the packaging or packing of the product. And for the share of the exporter to the total value is about 17%. If you are exporting or if there are entrepreneurs who are exporting these varieties, okay? Now, what we also learned is that the farmers and cooperative are deriving more profit from the local market more than the international market because of the price, the difference in the price that the local market is paying, okay? So these are also some data that tells us the indicative cost and returns for heirloom rice in the 4 provinces, okay? These are the 4 provinces data. But what is clear here is that the cultivation of heirloom rice is actually very labor intensive. That's why we introduce some technologies that will lessen the intensity of need for labor. Because if you look at this value, the labor that's contributed by this total system is about 69% of the cost of production. So it's really very high, okay? So hopefully this will be lessened by introducing some of these technologies that will lessen the need for actual labor, okay? Through simple machineries, use of simple machineries, okay? So other activities that were done to improve or enhance market are the voluntary development of cooperative by the 3 provinces. That's Kalinga, Benguet, and Mountain Province. And currently, Ifugao is also developing their own cooperative. Okay, because we know the value of working together than a farmer, a single farmer, actually asking for need for some help. So it's better to have them grouped as cooperative. Also, they are given more edge in their business. Okay. Another important thing that was added in the enhancing their market is the Intellectual Property Office already granted them the collection mark or collective mark, okay? What we call also similar to trademark. So the rice that they produce can be labeled with Cordillera Heirloom rice from the Philippines so that they will have their own, okay, reputation that these varieties are produced in an environment that is free from all the, that are produced organically and also are following good agricultural practices, okay? And hopefully later on, they will also get their organic certification that will certify the quality of the product that they produce and even market locally or internationally. Now, on top of that, we are also crafting the codes of practice to be able to prepare the community when they want to register them for geographic indication, because that will even protect their product from other, in comparison with products from other countries, okay? So particularly here, you will see that other than producing or developing their own cooperative, the region and also get the help of Mr. Cayanos to build their own business plan. Okay, so each cooperative group together and discuss and build their own business plan when they start marketing their product. Okay, so that makes them a solid members of having their own enterprise built. Okay. So that goes for Mountain Province. They have their own business plan developed for Kalinga and also those from Benguet. Okay? And then, in cooperation with the Department of Science and Technology, we also got their assistance by producing good quality packaging material for the different heirloom rice. So, these were designed by ITD, okay, under Department of Science and Technology. But not only that, they also studied the shelf life of these varieties. And if they are properly packaged, okay, using this kind of packaging material, okay, they recommended what kind of packaging material are best. They will, they are able to conserve or have a good product for 2 years. For these varieties. So, having good packaging material will allow them to store their product for 2 years if they are marketing. But of course, if you are not, 2 months, the quality start to deteriorate. But with all the protection, they will even have this oxygen absorber inside the package, and they can last even for 2 years, okay? So, safe to market them even if they are not freshly harvested. And also adding this nutrition facts in the label. And we also try to study the suitability map for the different varieties that we want to have the collective mark protected or later on for GI. Because we are not trying to restrict farmers from growing the same variety in case they are given geographic indication registry, okay, or registration. So what is GI? We are still working with the Department of Trade and Industry, especially the IPOFIL, Intellectual Property Office, and we are actually starting to register these varieties first, 4, and then later on 8 varieties, but it will all depend on the agreement reached between the farming community and if they wanted to register the varieties for GI, whether it's the location, whether it's the province, or whether it's the region, or whether it's the variety. These are things that need to be settled yet with the community. So if for those varieties, these are the first 4 varieties that we are targeting for GI registration. In Benguet, Lasbacan, in Ifugao, Inawi, okay? In Mountain Province, it's Uminyo, and in Kalinga, it's the Chongak. Okay, what are GI? This is a new branding technique for local entrepreneurs. So, meaning that GI will protect the varieties from, their reputation. This is similar to like pomelo in Davao or the cacao in Mindanao, in Davao City, or like our tinalak, okay? So similar to that, almost similar to that. Okay, so giving a reputation to a particular product and connecting to the region's inherent characteristics, okay? Which is, in other terms, they call it terroir of the product. And they may also imply production skills or processes associated with the region as captured in the Code of Practice. So these are all currently being prepared by the project. These are what is needed to be able to register under geographic indication, biophysical and human dimension. And what is done by the project is to fill in all these areas by the activities that are being done in the project. Okay? Okay. To develop the Code of Practice. Right now, we have already initiated the preparation of the Codes of Practice for the provinces. And these are some of the promotional campaigns to be able to promote and make people aware of these varieties. That was when we are starting to do this. So from 2015 and 16, okay? To be able to promote them. And hopefully, after that, our DA Secretary is also very supportive of this promotion because he himself has promoted these varieties in other countries, particularly in the US. Okay, so we also documented the models, the knowledge learned. So what you see here, okay, are part of the IEC material. So if you're interested, you can gather or you can get copies of some of these IEC materials about this Heirloom Rice project. We also had a calendar, but that was 2016, okay? We also did some process documentation to document all the processes done in the project, okay? And also, this is also an output of the project documentation. We saw that many of these abandoned terraces need rehabilitation. And so right now, the region is receiving funds to be able to renovate or, rehabilitate these abandoned terraces because this will also increase the rice production in the region. Not only those that are already farming, but adding area into their production, okay? And so now they have that funding. This is the calendar that we mentioned about. These are the awareness and promotion campaigns done through exhibits, fairs, mass media exposures, market encounters, hosting of guests, and serving as resource speakers, conducting workshops, and developing these IEC materials. Okay, so some of the awareness and promotion campaigns done is that some of these, entrepreneurs were able to get in contact with our farmers, and currently they're actually some of them already started their selling or marketing of heirloom rice. Okay, PAL also were enticed to order some of these varieties. Okay, to be used in their flights. In Madrid Fusion, we were asked to also demonstrate some of the uniqueness and also the creativity or the dishes that can be created out of these heirloom rices. Okay, these are some also of the awareness campaigns, the chefs interested that we talked about, the market encounters that we did so that they will make contacts with interested sellers of heirloom rice. And if you're interested in contacting our cooperatives, these are the contact person if you are interested in getting the product from the cooperatives, okay? So these are only some of the recommendations out of the outputs of the project. We hope we can further intensify, diversify, and integrate rice-based farming systems and enterprises for sustaining the productivity and meeting local and international market demand. We hope to continue and make sustainable pure seeds multiplied from these different heirloom rice varieties based on the characteristics, okay, especially the grain quality and the nutritional value of these varieties with farmers and market preferences. We also hope to pursue the expansion areas for the most popular heirloom rice varieties, and this is already part of, for both for domestic and international market. And this is already part of the second phase of the project. There is also a need to further capacitate the first batch of trained heirloom rice farmers for farmer-to-farmer approach training and extension. Okay? We hope that we can still link heirloom rice farmers and organizations to more local and international markets, already also done in the second phase of the project. We hope that we would also we propose to expand the project gains and new development strategies to other municipalities within the project provinces and other provinces in the Cordilleras. We also propose to provide for more needed farm and post-harvest facilities to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the post-harvest processing technologies to maintain the premium quality of this local and domestic demand, and even for international market. And as already mentioned, the region is already starting to rehabilitate the abandoned and damaged terraces. It's already ongoing right now. The final goal of all of this, the continuation, is to improve the welfare of our heirloom rice farmers living in those environments. Hopefully, the potential impact of the project is that with increased awareness toward promotion of the local, domestic, and export market demand, our government would be able to create a niche for these heirloom rice varieties, okay? And then as farmers are linked to rice value chain and their entrepreneurial skills are improved based on technologies and adapted business plan or model that's already being adopted by the cooperatives, the improved heirloom rice varieties contribute to increased productivity, the promotion of farmers and consumers' health and nutrition, increased income leading to improved farmers' livelihood, leaving no farmers behind. I mean, putting them also as part of those who would be part of those or benefiting from inclusive economic growth, okay, in the rural areas. Thus contributing to the collective action of not only increasing their yield, improving their livelihood, but also preserving our very precious rice terraces, their culture and their heritage, and also building inclusive economic growth for the farmers in those areas. So this is just reported very, very recently. We call this now Project Outcome because after 3 years, the cooperative already got funding to support their business activities. The farmers who are members of the Kalinga Rice Terraces Farmers Cooperative in Kalinga, okay, were awarded by World Bank through the Philippine Rural Development Program about 7.5 million grant to support their business activities. And also, the same group in Mountain Province are also doing the same. And hopefully, we look forward to their being able to get some grant as well to promote their business activities, okay? This is the second phase of the project that we hope will be continued to continue the achievement or the progress of the project with the general objective of continuing to enhance the productivity and livelihood of our upland or highland farming communities and conserve on-farm heirloom climate-resilient rice varieties, okay? The specific objectives of the second phase is to ensure the preservation, okay, and community registry of the characterized heirloom rice, to establish the inherent characteristic of at least 150 heirloom rice varieties. So in here, we are expanding the areas and collecting new varieties that have market, okay, only varieties that have market to diversify the varieties, the heirloom rice varieties that are being sold in the market, okay, and can reach other countries as well or other market. We hope also to increase the volume of the quality milled heirloom rice by at least 10% through improved production and post-production management, okay, reaching up to improving their processing areas, okay, the processing building, to capacitate the implementers and producers for improved productivity and product quality. And then another objective is to increase the value of heirloom rice and ensure market competitiveness. So sustaining the productivity of this heirloom rice. This is the framework. I wouldn't go deeply into this because these are already ongoing, but just to say that there are also these 4 components in the project, okay? Different partners are also engaged. Of course, our region is leading the project. Phil Rice and ERI collaborating with them together with the, the local government units, the universities in these provinces, okay? And this is what was used to justify the continuation of the project, that the irrigated rice terraces help preserve the ecological integrity of the environment. Okay, this is very important since producers maintain the forest watershed and the terraced walls that prevented the soil from cascading, from being eroded, okay? And then it has also contributed to the nation's economy through the aesthetic carving of the mountain landscapes. That's why we want to preserve their culture and their heritage, okay? Some land races are going extinct, okay? And that's what we found out as well, and that's the reason why this project would like to increase or expand the areas covered by the project. And the traditional rice farmers in those areas are also very thankful that they are now being recognized and supported since previous support has been given to the lowland commercial rice. And hopefully, the second phase of the project will cover the expansion sites with similar components but some adjustments from that of the phase 1. Just to show you and inspire us, okay, that right now, Thailand, who has been exporting a lot of this jasmine, aromatic rice, has already gone into producing berry rice. That's how they call it. What is this variety? Okay, in the world market, okay? So this berry rice is actually similar to our pigmented rice, okay? And so their Commerce Ministry aims to increase, okay, the total production area all over Thailand for the berry rice variety from 5,000 rai to 20,000 rai, meaning 3,200 hectares in comparison to what we have here, okay? And within 3 years, okay, so really they are just starting this, okay? So we are supposed to be ahead of them, and we should really probably move fast, okay? But also work with our ASEAN countries as well. They actually would like to do this because of the high demand, okay, that they realized in the world market for organic rice grains, okay? And to increase farmers' income as it can bring in twice the price of white rice according to the strong demand from many countries including China, Germany, Britain, the Netherlands, and the US. Our supposed to be target market as well, okay? Look at this. Now, they package it very well. As we know how they do their products, okay? They call it rice berry. And you see, now they can also give almost a very similar promotion. That rice berry, this is a purple pigmented rice. Well, actually, they even did some crossing with their very famous jasmine rice. Actually, this Thai home mali is the Kaudak Mali 105, or what we call jasmine rice. So they did already crossing probably to incorporate the fragrance trait. And then they also mentioned here that it is a source of gamma oryzanol, beta-carotene, niacin, thiamine, vitamin B2, anthocyanin, and total phenolic compounds. Exactly what we found out already from our own varieties, okay? And see, can you see here? Furthermore, the brand, which we are also promoting, because the brand out of pigmented rice were also found to be healthier. And Phil Rice already started studying the brand of this rice for value addition, okay? And also, a study shows that the darker the grain, the higher the antioxidant property. And when compared with various fruit, drink, or green tea, this rice brand has almost 100 times more antioxidant. See, they have very, very good promotion of their rice berry. This is in Indonesia, okay? They already have this different purple or black rice and combination with other white rice. And they're also now even producing rice flour out of these varieties, okay? And this is a very, very recent result, okay? Just last week, that the black glutinous rice, which has high resistant starch, only 3.5%, okay? With only 0.35% amylose, meaning it's sticky, okay, glutinous, were found to possess, they were found to possess low GI attribute. And low GI is actually needed by health, for improving our health, okay? Like for diabetics, okay? So comparing the black glutinous rice unmilled with milled samples that differ much in terms of resistant starch, and therefore, okay, it retains the health benefits of both milled and unmilled. So even if you eat milled and unmilled purple rice, they have low GI, okay? So this is really some of the health benefits that we get from this purple rice, okay? Along with the resistant starch composition, the antioxidant composition enriched in black rice contributes to actually lowering the GI, okay? And two, the knowledge of Dr. Nese, who is our grain quality expert, this is the first result demonstrating that waxy or glutinous rice, those with very low amylose content, accumulate moderate to high percentage of resistant starch, contributing to low GI, meaning really have very good health value, okay? So I will leave it at that. And please think about all these good qualities and values of our heirloom rice with our pigmented rice, purple rice, red, okay, or black. They are all possessing good health values, okay, nutritional values, good qualities, good texture, aroma also. And hopefully, together with our multi-institutional partners, we hope that we could continue serving our farmers in the marginal environments, in the highlands or in the uplands, and hopefully continue such work to be able to find niche market for their products. Thank you very much po. Salamat po sa inyo. Thanks for your attention. Salamat po.
Hello. Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Nolly. So, thank you for the significant and important information shared to us, especially on Heirloom rice. So, this time, now we are open for the question and answer. Anyone from the participants? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Very attentive si ma'am. Yes po, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Hello? Knock, knock. Hello? Ayan.
Yes po.
Okay. Namimili siya ng position. Okay. Good afternoon, ma'am. Salamat
afternoon
po
po,
sa inyong
ma'am.
information po. Ma'am, can you share with us, no, yung tungkol doon sa abandonment, no, at saka sa damage doon sa terraces, no, kung bakit nangyari yun, at yung rehabilitation po ginagawa po ngayon, na paano niya na-empower yung communities, no, sa anong dahilan, ho, bakit na-abandon, bakit na-damage yung mga terraces po. Salamat po.
Na-abandon po yun kasi po pag minsan, well, one, because of natural calamities, kasi pag minsan po tinatamaan din sila ng mga natural calamities, typhoon. Pero yung iba po, noong earlier, meron na pong nag-a-abandon din ng rice terraces. Hindi na nila natatamna, nasisira na po tuloy. Kasi nagmamigrate po sila, nag-shift to other job. Especially po yung male, yung pong mga male community. So natitira po mga babae kalimitan. Kaya halos silang gumagawa din sa field. But hopefully, this kind of project can wake them up and entice them back to work in the terraces. In fact, we would even want our younger generation, yung mga sons and children of our aged farmers, averaging about almost 57, 58 years old, na sana ma-entice din silang bumalik. That's the reason why hopefully the abandonment of these terraces would be lessened or reduced. And if they see that actually there is an arrangement that hindi lang po yun basta i-repair and ibibigay sa kanila. Para po sila ma-entice talaga bumalik, there is an agreement that they have to pay somehow. There is an agreement with the region. Hindi lang po yun basta ibibigay. Para din po ma-value nila yung contribution nila to bring back yung production doon sa na-damage nilang areas. Ito pong mga land na ito ay mas marami po dito, yung parang kanilang domain, ancestral domain. At sana po, by building that and rehabilitating them, they will go back. In fact, noon pong kami ay mag-lecture din sa UPLB, Phil Rice, meron pong estudyante from UPLB na sinabi na, oh, if you're actually gaining more from our heirloom rice production, maybe I would go back and continue production of heirloom rice. So I said, oh, this is like you that we need, that hopefully will entice also other members of the community to go back and continue planting heirloom rice in their provinces. So hopefully, ito pong tulong or support from our government has really actually regained yung interest po nitong ating mga farmers doon na talagang i-continue yung kanilang production ng heirloom rice. And they are really so valuable. Oh, yes po.
Hello. Ma'am, does it include po yung mga hindi ho, kumbaga nabigyan ng serbisyo sa irrigation, na-empower ba yung communities nila? Kasi pag walang irrigation, syempre, di ba, kahit ako, mahihirapan ako. Yung katulad, pinakita ninyo na ang daming labor na kailangan po dahil upland ho siya. So,
Irrigated.
syempre,
Highland.
ang tao ang aakyat. Kahit na may tulong ng mga makina na ginawa ng PhilMeg na pinaliit na, still, water is still a problem. Meron po ba tayo na naisip na paraan para medyo gumaang po?
Salamat po, ma'am. Actually, you hit the problem. It's actually one of the causes. Ang isa din pong cause, yung sinasabi nilang yung earthworm na nagbobore yung pong, anong tawag dito? Yung bands. Nabubutas po, natutuyo, lumalabas yung tubig. Kaya yun din po ang isang nakakasira. Now, the other thing is, talaga pong sinabi noong ating mga farmers na they need help in irrigating their farm. Kaya ang isa pong hinihiling nila noon ay napakasimple. Merong isang sila na mag-impound ng water and they're only requesting, alam po ninyo, yung mga PVC, ikakabit nila doon para daw po yung irrigation ay madala doon sa kanilang field. Ganun po kasimple ang kanilang kailangan. But hopefully, our government, I think, has some project in providing irrigation. Okay, lalo na po yung mga channel. Kasi po, totoo po yun. Minsan pupunta kayo doon sa mga liblib ng areas, yung pong kanilang field ay kawayan lang yung ginagamit sa pagsalo ng tubig mula sa isang field, papunta doon sa kanilang field. Talaga pong minsan natutuyuan din yung field. Nakita namin na pag natuyuan na yung field, lumalabas minsan yung mga sakit na dala noong kulang sa tubig. Lalo na po, for example, brown spot. Nakakita po kami kasi tuyo na yung nila, yung field. So, talaga po yun ang hiningi nila. And hopefully, by rehabilitating those fields, noong pong time ng previous government, DA Secretary, sinabi din po niya na pag nag-map at nag-identify ng mga i-rehabilitate na area, try to find also the watershed. At isasabay nila yung pag-improve ng irrigation. Sana po ay ganon ang ating gawin. But they already mentioned that, our government is keen already about that. Kailangan nilang ma-identify yung watershed para ma-direct din nila yung irrigation doon sa mga farm na tama po kayo, baka kaya ina-abandon kasi wala ng tubig. Wala nang dumarating na tubig. Pero yung iba po naming nakikita, may dumarating na tubig pero kulang. So ang ginagawa nila, nagdudugsong ng mga kawayan para doon tumulay yung tubig, papunta doon sa kanilang field. Talaga po. And to produce, kahit po bumili tayo ng really more expensive amount noong kanilang pinuproduce na rice, ay Diyos ko, kulang na kulang pa po with the effort that they do to produce 1 kilo of that special variety. Kaya talaga pong talagang worth it na talagang makatulong. At ang gobyerno natin is very sensitive about this and they are supporting them. Yes po.
Hello.
Ay, yes po.
Thank you. Ang heirloom rice, matagal na ito, matagal na itong ginagamit natin ba? Kaso lang, lately lang na-identified na maganda siya. Pero sa India, ASEAN countries, matagal na ito. Even Africa, mayroon sila. India, mayroon. Kaso lang sa atin, may ilig tayo kasi sa puti. Yan, sa puti. Ang heirloom rice natin may kulay. Nasuposible yan sanang para sa atin.
Tama
sa Pilipinos
po kayo.
yun.
Tama po kayo.
Yan, and thank you very much, ma'am. No? I am an urban agriculturist. Ang question ko lang dito, baka pwede natin ito, ang heirloom rice sa upland, which is rain-fed, organic, madala sa urban area.
Hello.
And I really believe, no?
Sir,
na
meron na rin.
pwede siya.
Sir, pwede po. Ang ginagawa po ngayon, meron din pong dating program ang ating PhilRice, Upland Rice Development Program. Sila po ay nag-identify at nagkakatalog din ng mga varieties. Ito po, ginagawa po ngayon din ng PhilRice.
Opo.
Nagkakatalog po sila ng mga varieties sa upland areas. So from north to south po. Ngayon, busy-busy po ang ating mga PhilRice partners na magkatalog at mag-collect ng mga rice varieties. Actually, We can really call them heirloom. Doon po
Heirloom.
sa like Sarangani,
Okay.
yung mga kung saan po may mga upland areas, yung pong project natin sa ano po, sa North Cotabato, sa Banisilan at sa Alamada. Kasi yung po yung largest area ng upland rice doon sa North Cotabato.
Opo.
Ginagawa din po yan ngayon
Yeah, thank
ng
you.
ating field rice.
I really believe na yung for every region, no? Kada region may sarili siyang heirloom rice eh. Ako niwala diyan. Kasi every region may mga mountain range rin yun.
Alin
So,
po ang
Yes, ma'am.
Ang
So,
alin po?
ang concern ko lang dito, ganito siya. Pag pumasok na yung mga, like, for example, yung area, no, I'm not criticizing area, no. Pag pumasok ito ngayon yung mga imported varieties, na kung saan, itanim siya ngayon sa mga heirloom rice, hindi ba delikado na may open pollination na hindi na may tendency siya ba na later on hindi na siya maging pure heirloom rice?
opo, nakita
Diba?
ko po yung concern
Nakuha mo,
ninyo.
ma'am? Yeah.
Meron po talagang possibility.
So tama yung sinasabi.
Pero self-pollinated po itong ating rice. Kaya, although meron pong very slim chance na
Slim.
magkameron ng outcrossing, pero basically self-pollinated po ito. Although, kung mag-evolve man po itong ating heirloom rice, it's because of probably its adaptation to the environment.
At saka maganda itong ideya na yung GI na sinasabi. Yan, maganda yan.
Ay, yes
As
po.
a trademark. Magiging trademark kasi yan. Maganda yan. Yan ang ginagawa sa
Yes po.
Vietnam, mayroon sila eh.
Opo.
Yeah, Vietnam. Ang
Hini-
Africa, mayroon din.
Tama po kayo. Yan pong hinihintay natin sa ating
Maganda to.
IPOFIL,
Opo,
yung
opo.
Intellectual Property
Opo, opo.
Office. Yan po ang pinag-aaralan nila kung anong path pupunta
Opo.
ang ating ano. Will it be yung trademark po or will it be the GI?
Yung GI at saka
So,
trademark, dalawa ba?
Yes
Dalawa
po.
yun, opo.
Naku, salamat po at alam
Oo,
ninyo,
tama
you are
yan.
so aware of the
I'm
GI.
studying intellectual property. Opo. At saka itong pag may GI na, kailangan isama nila yung traditional knowledge doon mismo sa cultural management ng rice. Yan, importante rin yun. Kasi later on, ang mayari diyan yung community para sa kanila.
Sir, tamang-tama po yung
Thank
inyong suggestion na yan. Talagang yan po ang patutunguhan dapat ng ating mga heirloom, especially po pag niregister na natin po yan. Kasama din yung mga kanilang cultural, botanical properties or characteristics pagre-register po natin. Kaya po yung catalog, nilalagay lahat doon yung characteristics. Pati po down to the yung DNA or genome level. Para po talagang pag sinabi natin ito yung variety na yon, meron po tayong proof or marker na pwedeng magamit para sabihin natin na ito yung variety na yon at wala nang iba. Tayo po. Salamat po. Tamang-tama po yung inyong suggestion na yan. At yan po ay ipararating din natin sa ating office ng intellectual property.
Good afternoon
Yes,
po,
sir.
ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Johannes Bansa from the Land of Promise. May
From
tanong
the
ko lang,
Land of
ma'am.
Promise.
From the Land of Promise. I'm just curious, ma'am. No? When we see palay, rice, most commonly referred to rice paddies, lowland.
Mm-hmm.
In which here in Central Luzon, in which we call the rice granary of Luzon,
Yes.
I have never seen any upland rice, in which one day, the other month, I went to Laor. I was so surprised and was amazed when I see this parcel of land planted with upland rice, good bearing yung uhay malalaki. So I remember in our place in Mindanao before, we used to plant this upland rice during this start of the rainy season,
Yes po.
which those are the varieties of the Maragakit, the Norados, and the Azucenas. But as of now, I observe and have seen farmers that there are very few planted this upland rice. By this time, ma'am, do you have any any development about this upland rice which the farmers can maintain the quality and the production of that upland rice.
Yes po, yan po sana ang, that's all about the Upland Rice Development Program ng PhilRice na hopefully subsumed din ngayon with the Heirloom Rice Program. Na ang objective po niyan ay magkatalog talaga nitong ating mga upland traditional varieties at tingnan yung kanilang capacity for production para po meron po silang top 20 or actually, yung una po nilang ginawa, top 60 varieties all over the country. Nag-identify po sila ng most common na planted until now para po yun yung kinarakterize nila at sana po ay maturuan din sila how to multiply them. Almost similar po dito sa ating project na ginagawa sa Cordillera at sa Region 12. And they are even actually planning to, yun nga din po, kung hindi pa sila at wala pa sila, hindi pa sila nakatago sa ating PhilRice, ay itatago po nila yon para ma-conserve natin ng matagal. But the fact is, they are cataloging them now. In fact, meet lang po namin with our partners sa PhilRice at sinabi nila na meron silang ongoing project din ngayon ng collection, yung nasa Gene Bank po. Nagko-collect din po sila ngayon sa Gensan, sa Sarangani. At doon po sila nakakita ng mga varieties na talaga pang purple, pati yung stem. Hindi lang po yung bunga, pati po yung sheath na hindi naka-expose sa yung stem, yung sheath na hindi naka-expose sa sun, ay purple din po. Nung buksan nila ay purple. So, ibig sabihin, meron pa po tayong mga varieties na most probably hindi pa nakakatalog, hindi pa nakakarakterize at kailangan nating i-characterize at i-identify natin kung ano ang meron sila at pagyamanin natin. Either give them to the farmers to produce them more, find niche market for them, or have other value for those traditional varieties. Sana po ganun po ang puntahan itong ating project na to.
Sana
With the
nga,
help
ma'am,
of
because-
our support from the government, hopefully, ganun din po. Our PhilRice is really very active on doing this right now.
Yeah, because
And IRI is also helping in the conservation of this kind of varieties.
Yeah. And it is mentioned there, Banisilan, Cotabato, and Banisilan, Cotabato is just located side by side with my town, Wao, in Lanao del Sur.
Ah, ganun po ba? So, nakita po niyo yung mga naka-report na varieties.
And
Yung pong mga hinumay, guyod, pilitapol, of course, maraming dinurado, di po ba? But in Sarangani, they are actually collecting more and cataloging them more.
And I just want to share also to this to everyone here now this idea which I have. And during rainy seasons, if you have this possible area in your rice fields to make this water impounding tank, then I encourage everyone to prepare to make water impounding tank. Just what I am planning today. This is only my idea, just which I want to share. Where my little farm in Liwayway near Fort Bonifacio, there is that a little source of water which is below my rice paddies, which I am about to make a dike so that the water level will be up or higher than the rice paddies to make it all overflow. Overflow freely to the rice paddies. And if you can also make it an integrated farming, that would be okay also. Rice fish integrated farming, which is my master plan for today.
Naku,
And
salamat
studying
po.
still. So I'm just encouraging you to have this rice fish integrated farming. Not just harvesting one time of your rice, but same time harvesting your tilapia or hito.
Oh, okay po.
And I have also listened to this one participant here mentioned about this Benguet, why it was abandoned. I don't know if some of you has seen that one. It was abandoned before because of this ill, yung palos, igat, not just this earthworm, but because of this palos. nakaakyat sila sa rice terraces in which binubutasan yung mga rice, tawag doon yung pilapil. That's the main reason why na inabandon nila yung yung rice terraces sa Benguet, which is now they are what you call this, inayos na rin uli.
Yeah, in fact po,
Eh, yun
Gusto
lang po.
na rin ibalik
Maraming
yung
salamat
production.
sa pakikinig.
salamat po ng marami sa inyong
Okay.
comment at suggestion at sa inyong plano.
Okay, again, thank you very much, Ma'am Nolly.